Okay, I have to say this out loud because it's been living rent-free in my head. I once told my boss in a real job interview that I am agree with your company vision.
You said what?
I said I am agree in a job interview with a panel.
A panel.
3 people. They all looked at each other.
Okay, but here's the thing. You probably knew 12 tenses at that point.
14. I had literally studied 14 tenses.
And still said, I am agree.
Because none of those 14 tenses told me how to say a normal sentence like a normal human being.
Which is exactly what we're talking about today.
So, if you just landed here and you're wondering what's happening, this is English Couch. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike. And we're here because that story Sarah just told, it's not embarrassing. It's extremely common.
Here's the actual problem nobody talks about. Most English learners spend years studying grammar systems that native speakers never use. And while you're memorizing future perfect continuous, you're missing the 5 tenses that show up in literally every real conversation.
Work, travel, friendships, first dates, job interviews with a panel of 3 people.
We're getting there.
By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly which 5 tenses those are, how they connect to each other, and, this is the part most grammar books skip, why native speakers switch between them mid-sentence and what that switch actually means.
And there's something about one of these tenses that almost nobody teaches correctly. It's the reason I am agree exists. We'll get to it.
Let's go.
Okay, first tense. Simple present. And I want to start with something that kind of blew my mind when I finally understood it.
Hit me.
Simple present isn't just things you do regularly. It's actually the tense you use to describe who you are, your identity, your existence in the world.
Like, I teach English isn't just a habit, it's a fact about me right now, my job, my life.
Right. So when someone asks, "What do you do?" and you say, "I am a teacher," that's simple present. When you say, "I live in New York," simple present. I love coffee. I hate Mondays. I speak 3 languages. It's the tense of facts.
And here's where the I am agree mistake comes from, by the way. In a lot of languages, you save the equivalent of I am agree because you use a form of to be to describe states. But in English, stative verbs, verbs that describe a state, not an action, don't use am.
Wait, say that again? Stative verbs?
So verbs like agree, understand, know, believe, want, like, love, these describe mental states, not actions. In English, you just use the base form. I agree. I understand. I know. No am.
I wish someone had told me that before the panel interview.
For the record, you got the job.
Barely.
Simple present. Facts, identity, states, base verb, no am. That's it.
Okay, tense 2, present continuous. And this one does 2 completely different jobs, and most people only know about one of them.
Right, so job 1 is obvious. Something happening right now. I am learning English. She is sleeping. It is raining.
The right this second job. Got it. What's job 2?
Building. Future plans that are already arranged, already locked in. I'm flying to Dubai on Thursday. We're having dinner with her parents tomorrow.
Wait, that's future. But you said, I'm flying.
Because the plan exists now. The ticket is booked. The reservation is made. When something is decided and arranged, native speakers use present continuous even for the future, because the reality of it is already in the present.
So it's not really about time. It's about whether the thing is already real.
Yes, exactly. The plan already exists right now. It just happens later.
Okay, I have to admit something. I used will for everything future related for like 2 solid years.
Everyone does. It's not wrong. People understand you. But once you get this, you start to sound so much more natural.
Because native speakers say, I'm meeting him tomorrow, not I will meet him tomorrow when the plan is set.
Present continuous, what's happening right now, or what's already arranged for later. 2 jobs, 1/10.
All right, tense 3. And this one is where most people feel confident, but also where the most embarrassing mistakes happen.
Because of irregular verbs.
Because of irregular verbs. I went, not I goed. I ate, not I eated. I saw, not I seed.
Someone once told me they runned into an old friend. I didn't say anything.
See, that is cruel. We should correct people. Kindly.
Okay, fair. But here's the reassuring part. You only need to know the most common 30 or so irregular verbs to cover like 90% of real conversations.
Which ones?
Go, come, see, eat, buy, make, take, give, get, say, know, have, be, think, feel, leave, run, speak, bring, write, read, send, find, put, keep, meet, become, tell, understand, pay.
That's it?
Learn those and you can tell basically any story.
And simple past is genuinely just done and finished. Happened, over. I went to the market. She called me. We had the best time. Clean and done.
Simple past, storytelling, happened and finished. Master 30 irregular verbs and you can narrate your entire life.
Okay, wait. Before we get to tenses 4 and 5, I want to come back to something Mike said earlier that I don't think we fully landed on.
Yeah?
He said stative verbs don't use am. But here's the wild part. Some verbs can be both stative and active, and when they switch, the entire meaning changes.
Oh, this is the one.
I think you're right. That's simple present. I believe it. It's a fact in my brain.
Stative, a mental state.
I'm thinking about quitting, present continuous, an active mental process happening right now.
Same verb, completely different meaning depending on which form you use.
Or she has a car. She owns one. Simple present. Stative.
Versus she's having a great time, present continuous. The experience is actively happening.
Have as a stative and an action verb in the same language.
English, everybody.
This is why I am agree exists. It's not because people don't try. It's because the rules are genuinely complicated and almost nobody teaches them clearly.
And now you know. When it's a mental state, use simple present. When it's an active process, present continuous is fine.
Hey, real quick, if you're finding this useful, 2 things.
Hit subscribe. We make new episodes regularly, and we don't want you to miss them.
And every month, we genuinely notice the people who show up in the comments, the ones who share examples, help other learners, ask real questions.
We call them our top 3 learners of the month. It's not a competition. It's just us saying we see you. You're part of what makes this community real.
Drop something in the comments today, even just your answer to our challenge at the end.
Okay, back to tenses.
Tense 4, and I am going to say something bold. This is the tense that separates people who sound like they're translating in their head from people who sound like they actually think in English.
Present perfect.
Have or has plus the past participle. I have visited Paris. She has eaten sushi before. We have watched that film 3 times.
And the key thing about present perfect, it connects the past to right now. The experience exists in your present even if it happened before.
So when someone asks, have you ever tried Ethiopian food? They don't care when. They want to know if that experience is part of who you are today.
Exactly. Yes, I have tried it. Simple, present tense connection. But the second you add a time, you switch to simple past. I tried it last month when I visited London.
Wait, so I naturally switch tenses mid-answer?
All native speakers do. You just probably didn't realize you were doing it.
That's kind of wild. The whole time I was making mistakes, I was actually doing something native speakers do.
Present perfect also shows up constantly in news. Scientists have discovered. The company has announced. It makes information feel fresh and relevant right now.
So it's the tense of experience, recent news, and things that are still connected to your present.
Present perfect, the bridge between past and now. Use it for experience, recent events, and anything where the timing doesn't matter but the result does.
Last one, tense 5, simple future with will.
And here's how to know when to use will versus present continuous for the future. One word, spontaneous.
Meaning?
If you just decided something this second, in this moment, in response to what someone just said, you use will. Sure, I will help you. Don't worry, I will call you back. The decision is being made right now, out loud, in real time.
But if it was already planned before this conversation?
You say, I'm meeting her tomorrow. I'm flying out on Friday. The present continuous because it already existed before this moment.
This genuinely changed how I speak because I was using will for everything and wondering why I sometimes sounded slightly stiff.
Will is also for predictions. It will rain tomorrow. This is going to be a problem. Things you believe will happen, but you didn't plan for them.
So, will is spontaneous decisions, promises made in the moment, and predictions, not planned arrangements.
Simple future with will, for the things you're deciding out loud and the things you can see coming.
Okay, let's do the thing where we make all 5 tenses talk to each other in one real situation.
Let's say someone asks you to tell them about your English learning journey.
I study English every day. That's just part of my life now. Simple present. Identity. Fact.
Right now, I'm working on tenses because I realize I keep mixing them up. Present continuous. In progress.
I made so many mistakes in the beginning. I once said I am agree in a job interview. Simple past. Happened, done, mortifying.
But I have improved a lot. I actually think in English sometimes now. I don't always translate. Present perfect. Past experience connected to who I am today.
And I will keep going. I know it. Simple future with will. Decision made, commitment. Out loud right now.
5 tenses, 1 answer. That's your English life story told like a native speaker.
Okay, challenge time. And this one is genuinely fun, I promise.
5 sentences, 5 tenses about yourself.
Here's the format. I, simple present something true about you, every day. Right now, I am something in progress in your life. I once, simple past a mistake you once made. I have, present perfect, an experience you've had. And I will, a promise or prediction about your future.
So like mine would be, I drink coffee every day. Right now, I'm learning how to actually cook. I once called my teacher Mom by accident. I have traveled to 7 countries, and I will absolutely embarrass myself in at least 3 more languages before I'm done.
The mom thing is real?
Embarrassed. 3rd grade in front of the whole class. We don't talk about it.
Drop your 5 sentences below. We actually read every single one. And if you've got an English question, something that's been confusing you, something a grammar book made worse, put it in the comments. We're always looking for our next episode.
No wrong answers. Seriously, the attempt is the whole point.
I'm going to be thinking about Mike calling his teacher mom for the rest of the week.
I've accepted it as part of my identity.
Next episode, we're going into something that trips up even advanced learners: the difference between used to, would, and was always doing. Spoiler, they're not the same, and one of them doesn't exist in a lot of other languages at all.
If that already sounds mildly terrifying, good. That means you'll be here.
If this episode helped you today, and I really hope it did, share it with someone who needs it. Not in a corporate please grow our channel way, just because it's genuinely useful, and you probably know at least one person who said I am agree at some point.
We all do.
Thank you for being here, for real. We make these because language learning should feel like a conversation, not a punishment.
Take care of yourselves, go use a tense in the wild today, and we'll see you next time. Same couch, new Kagos.